Hello and welcome to the Regional Report here in Dublin, Ireland. On this show I have Julie O'Neill, General Manager at Gilead Sciences Limited. Welcome to the show. Julie, your organisation Gilead is a US-based biotechnology company. It's one of the top biotech companies in the US. What are you doing here in Ireland?
Fintan, we've been in Ireland basically since the company that I previously worked for, Nexstar Pharmaceuticals, was acquired by Gilead in 1999. Nexstar was another US multinational with a strong European base. So Gilead acquired Nexstar in 1999, and since then we have developed from a very small base as mainly a packaging and release testing site to, with the acquisition of Nycomed Limited in September of 2007, an integrated pharmaceutical manufacturing organisation in Ireland with two sites, one in Dublin and one in Cork.
Right, so the acquisitions was the route in which Gilead got in. That's quite unusual for companies because they come in here on a greenfield site, but you're actually building in through acquisitions.
Yes, well, our intent was originally last year to expand our operations through development of a greenfield site. However, the opportunity with Nycomed came along, and we acquired a brand new facility which had been completed in October 2006. So it was a ready-made solid oral dosage facility with its EMEA and IMB approvals already in situ.
And that opportunity in Cork came a result of Nycomed's acquisition of Altana Pharmaceuticals.
That is correct, yes.
Right.
Yes.
So you picked up a manufacturing opportunity there.
We did, yes.
So for a company like Gilead, why are you manufacturing in Ireland? Why are you continue to look at Ireland as a location to operate from?
A couple of key points. There's a very strong compliance focus in Ireland. The record of Irish companies with the Irish Medicines Board, with the FDA, for example, in terms of the regulated environment in which we work has been very strong, and that's very important for Gilead. We pride ourselves on our reputation in terms of our compliance to regulations, both locally and globally. Secondly, just in Ireland, we've had a very good success story from a small organisation with 8 people in 1999. We had grown to 80 people in Dublin. Product from our supply chain basically entered Ireland and was distributed, packaged and distributed onwards, and we've had a very successful relationship in Ireland, and I think that drove some of the decisions behind our desire to expand our operations here.
Right, and people often look at Ireland from a tax perspective, but clearly one of the key things are people, the skill sets that you require, particularly in an industry which is highly regulated. And the issues of delivering product is so important to the marketplace.
Absolutely. I mean, within our own organisation, 60% of our workforce has a third level qualification, and there is a ready access to that pool of employees throughout Ireland. There have, the Irish education system lends itself towards people progressing to third level. We have since probably the early 90s, no fees in universities, so access is easier, and therefore there is a great pool of highly trained personnel coming out of universities and who are available for industries such as ourselves to come and work in our industries and to be trained and developed even further in the functions that we have within our operations.
So are all the people who work for Gilead here in Ireland Irish, or do they come in from other parts of the world as well?
We've had recently, with the net migration into Ireland, we have some employees working from many different countries.
Right.
But the strong the workforce that is mainly Irish.
Okay.
Mainly
and obviously in Ireland, people are aware of, or people outside Ireland are aware of some of the universities, famous universities here in Ireland. But it's not just those famous universities that are important. There are other organisations like FOSS who provide support. And have you actually had experience of that?
We have, yes. I mean, FOSS have the training centre in Cork, which we haven't availed of until now, actually, because it has a very strong link with our solid dosage manufacturing capabilities. But FOSS has always been there as a training ground for many of the support functions that we have always done a good job in terms of training operators and upskilling early school leavers and people who haven't had the opportunities that our education system affords. So, FOSS has been there behind us all, but there also are the regional technical colleges, or institutes of technology as they're now known, who, though they're not world famous universities, provide a very strong basis for our graduates and a great graduate pool coming from them.
One of the things about the pharmaceutical industry, it's technology driven, and it's not just technology driven because of the products it generates, but it's technology driven because it's the processes by which you manufacture drugs also require innovations and technologies. So does Ireland, for a company that's involved in manufacturing here in Ireland, do you have the access, or do you have access to that additional skill set which is innovative technology driven in relation to manufacturing? Do you get that here in Ireland?
Absolutely. There has been a real cluster effect grown out of the strength of the pharmaceutical industry and the presence of so many sites, that all of our support industries in terms of those companies that support our process technologies are readily available locally, which is of great benefit. I mean, many companies have actually, on the support side, invested and developed a presence in Ireland on the foot of the pharmaceutical industry being here, and that's very important. I mean, to have ready access to engineers and to technologists who can come and help us resolve issues, or who can also help us develop new systems and new processes, is very, very helpful.
Right. And obviously Ireland's part of the EU, it's part of the European Union. Is that important?
That is key. And one of the reasons the company that I work for started in Ireland was because it was a portal for access to the EU markets. Because, and I'm sure you're aware, once product is released in one EU member state, it is available to the market throughout the remaining countries of the EU.
Right.
So that was very important for a US multinational to have product manufactured, brought into Ireland, release tested, and then distributed onwards. And Ireland provides that portal. We have an ability in terms of the Irish workforce to turn product around, to meet our deadlines, to undertake and to meet the commitments expected from our parent companies.
Mm-hmm. And the other issue, I suppose, when you're looking at Ireland and the type of company that your parent company that you have, your parent company is a US biotech, it's got that particular type of culture. How does that culture back end into the Irish culture? Extremely
well. Gilead is a very dynamic organisation, and I think the workforce and the people of Ireland are very dynamic individuals. They're dynamic in their communication, very strong communication capabilities, able to work cross-functionally and in teams, and that really is very close to the way a biopharma company operates. Generally they don't have huge numbers of employees when biopharma companies start. They're small, lean, and need to move forward. Speed to market, time to market is very important, and I think the Irish culture and Irish psyche really knits in very clearly into that type of organisation.
If I knew of a biotech company or a pharmaceutical company based outside Ireland who are considering coming to Ireland to manufacture, what would you suggest I'd say to them?
I'd say the workforce is great. There's a strong compliance history. It's easy to do business. If you want to get your product to market, this is the environment in which you should come, because there are people willing to help you both at government and at the employee base to make that all happen.
And from a Gilead point of view, looking into the future and your own plans for future products coming through, is Ireland going to be a place where you continue to expand?
Absolutely. I mean, our goal is that Gilead, that the Irish site will play an important role in clinical trial supplies and a new product introduction, and be a site potentially for product launches. So it will play a pivotal role in our pipeline development.
Julie O'Neill, thank you very much indeed for coming on to the Regional Report. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Pinto.